Today we're talking about the pound versus the Australian dollar, not a pair that we typically talk about on this channel, but the setup is there. However, we do have some upcoming event risk that's going to be key for this setup. So looking at the pound versus the Australian dollar, first of all, you can see here on the daily chart, going back to 2024, okay, really late 2023, early 2024, you can see that off of these lows, we do have this diagonal. Okay, so very clean off of these lows. And then if you take a parallel level off of these lows, off of this level, which this is often the case, guys. I talk about a lot, but markets do love symmetry. And this is what I'm referring to when I say that, where you can see that this right here is running parallel to that lower level. You can see we have these two highs right here. You can see resistance, okay, earlier this year, the pair broke out. We got to close above, all right, multiple daily closes above here. And that level failed last week on Friday. So this right here, this kind of price action is what I look for in my trading. All right, this is primarily the kind of stuff that I trade or that I look for in the Forex market. And this is also very similar to what we saw from the Euro NZD that I talked about last week. Okay, so you can see here, very similar situation. We have a channel that runs back here towards September of last year. And again, very well defined. You've got these lows down here. You have this parallel level off of these highs, and this upper level is even more well-defined than the pound Aussie. And you can see right here, resistance, we got the close above, multiple closes above, and this level failed. Now, as you guys know, I announced my entry in real time in VIP up here around 190, 140. All right, so up here in this area, and currently, obviously, well in profit. I have not taken any profit here because I'm looking for a move down there toward the 2025 open. All right, now I'm showing you this because, you know, this has a lot to do with the pound Aussie as well, because when you look at these two currency pairs, you know, you can see here that in blue, we have the British pound versus the Australian dollar. And then in pink, we have the euro versus the New Zealand dollar. And you can see that for the most part, they are, you know, relatively positively correlated. Okay. Now, there are periods like this back here where you can see that they do, you know, one will outpace the other, whether it be the euro and the pound or the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. But for the most part, they are, you know, relatively correlated. So when we look at the pound, guys, here is the setup, in my opinion. Obviously, never financial advice. And also keep in mind, too, that, you know, as good as this looks right now, there are no guarantees in trading. And so this could very well fail, right? It might not work out. And also the fact that we do have an upcoming employment report out of Australia here in the next few hours. So keep that in mind as well, that is certainly going to affect something like the GBPAUD. All right. So looking here, that you can see where this level failed. So this was the breakout that we saw over the past couple of weeks. This level failed late last week. And you can see that so far this week, we are getting a retest as new resistance. Now, another thing too, and this happens often when you get these kind of fake outs, right? These failed breakouts, is you can see that we have the potential for a head and shoulders pattern, right? We've got the left shoulder over here, the head up here, and a potential right shoulder forming. Now, the key for this to play out would be to, you know, break below this area down here. So this neckline down here below the low, the recent low, get a sustained break below that. I think we're looking at that push down here into levels like 2.0 or just above. All right, so that's really the setup in a nutshell, guys. And just for full disclosure too, I did announce my entry here in real time in VIP. All right, so up here in this area, I was getting in. I'm front running this essentially, banking on today closing below this area. All right. Now, I say I'm front running it, but really technically, this right here is the retest I was looking for, because what you'll notice is that off of this low right here, there was an open FVG from this low. And also, I talk about it a lot, but you can see where this was the breakdown candle. And so far this week, we really didn't see much of a retrace into this candle until today. Okay, so this is what I was looking for, to look for a short here. However, it is a smaller position just because I'm looking to potentially scale into this if we do get the breakdown. All right, also feeling pretty confident about this, considering the fact that, like I said, the Euro NZD, this short that I put on last week, which again, I also announced in real time in Discord. This is not after the fact stuff, guys. Up here at 190, 140. All right, so this right now is about 390 pips in profit. Okay, so obviously feeling, pretty good about putting on a small short here on the pound Aussie, just because I do have this trade running as well. And really, I mean, these two trades, guys, this is all I've done for the past couple of weeks. I mean, this right here, this short that I put on from up here, this is all I did last week. And the reason for that is because I really didn't see anything else out there in the market. I mean, the euro's been very sideways. The pound's been very sideways. Plus, we had FOMC today, so I wanted to kind of sidestep some of those major currency pairs and focus more on the crosses. All right, so we'll see if this plays out, guys. If it does, then what I'm looking for is the potential for a move back here into levels like this. And the reason for that, if this does end up being a head and shoulders, then the objective comes in right down here in this area. Furthermore, what you'll notice is that off of these lows, there is also a trend line that comes in right around that area. Okay, so if we were to get the pound Aussie into this area later this month, then it could line up right here in this area. All right, so we'll see what happens. Obviously, this is contingent on the market holding below the top of this channel following that failed breakout. All right, so obviously if the market starts to close up here in this area on the high time frames, then it would negate this idea. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. Don't forget to join us in VIP. Claim your 85% off lifetime access. See the link in the description of this video. Or if you're on the website, click on that Join VIP link. Trade well out there. I will see you on the inside, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.